All right. Good evening. We'll call the meeting of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Brown, has the meeting been properly advertised?
Yes, sir, it has.
Thank you, sir. Good to hear that. Let us all stand now. Mr. Brown going to lead us in our prayer and our pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, thank you so much for bringing us here tonight to do the business of the county, Lord. We're mindful of all those folks that are in harm's way and those that are battling with the tropical storm, those that were lost in their lives down in Miami, Lord. And we're just so grateful, Lord, that you've let us do the things the way that you would have us do them, Lord. As the board considers things tonight, Lord, we just look to you for guidance. We ask for your patience. We ask for your love. We ask you to wrap your arms around us and take care of us, Lord, in the coming days ahead. Lord, just lead us and guide us in everything that we do that'll be right and pleasing for you. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, sir. Commissioners Jones and Frazier has to be excused this evening. And then there's a chance that Commissioner Stevens may join us. We're not exactly sure yet, but we have a quorum, so we are able to go ahead and take care of our official business. All right. The minutes from June would require our approval. June 1st and June 17th. Have we had time to look at those, commissioners? If you have, the chair entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Motion and a second. We accept the meeting minutes from June 1st and June 17th. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. Minutes are adopted for the month of June. All right, departmental reports, right on into LCPC. Mr. Gandhi. How are you?
Okay, hope everyone had a good 4th of July weekend.
We did, thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So our first item tonight is a rezoning petition. It's 2021-29 LC. This was submitted by Gene Salter to rezone a 6-acre portion of a 61.84 acre property.
Is it, Mr.
We
Chairman?
need to go into a public hearing for rezoning.
Thank you, sir. You do have mine somewhere else. Chair, entertain a motion to go out of regular session into public hearing.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? We're now in public hearing. Thank you, Commissioner Waller.
Thanks, sir. Let me restart. So rezoning petition submitted by Mr. Gene Salter to rezone a 6-acre portion of a 61-acre property at the intersection of 84 and Leroy Cofer, wanting to rezone from B2 for general commercial to I1 for industrial and operate a wood transfer station there. This property is described as parcel 12071 and located in District 1. Here's a sign we had here, right on the edge of the property, a legal ad. So our narrative here from Tier Long. Subject property, tax parcel 120071 is located on the corner of East Oglethorpe Highway and Leroy Cofer. The property fronts along East Oglethorpe Highway and Leroy Cofer Highway and is 61.84 total acres. The site is currently cleared with wooded areas. The current zoning is B2 for general commercial, and the proposed zoning is I1 for industrial. The intent of the rezoning is to have 6 acres of the parcel rezoned to I1, and the remaining acreage will stay within the B2 zoning. The proposed use for that 6 acres is a wood transfer station. So, of course, we all know we're talking about the Salter Field here, coming down 84 out of Hinesville. Leroy Cofer is right here. I'll show you on the map in just a second which part we're talking about rezoning, but you can see the whole property as it is right now is Zone B2. So here's just a clear look at what's on there. You all know there's probably there's a road right here, another access point up here. I say road, it's a dirt access path, but. So you can see here which part they're proposing to rezone. It's just this 6 acres right here. This area is wooded right here. So they're kind of going up against the wooded area here for this industrial area. But they would mean to access by way of 84 here and come in this way. But of course there is that other access, which I showed you leading out of this area up onto Leroy Cofer if needed. So our zoning analysis, property does have reasonable economic value, conforms to the JLUS. So this property is designated for commercial and rural mixed use by the comprehensive plan. rural mixed use does allow for industrial uses, so this new use would meet the comprehensive plan standards. There will not be an adverse effect on the value and usability of nearby properties. We would say it is suitable in view of nearby uses because the property is surrounded by commercial uses right now, and there's also the large-scale industrial use across the street. Just to remind y'all, that is the cement all over here. Let's see here. We do not think this would create any sort of an undue burden on transportation. This would not allow for short-term gain at the expense of long-term goals. This could possibly cause a domino effect. They may want to rezone more of the property to industrial in the future, but so we said possibly. But there are no unique historical sites noted. Part of the property is in flood zone A, but not the part that they're proposing to rezone. So part of that larger 61 acres is in a flood zone. This part is not. So we are recommending approval with standard conditions for this rezoning.
All right, you had your yellow signs up. Did you get any feedback?
We got a few, some people called in with questions about, one person called in with questions about the access, and I mentioned that would be on the 84 side primarily. And then just some people asking for clarification. Nobody was opposed to it. Let me just run back to the map so y'all can visualize that.
Let's see, let me give you first. You got any questions, Commissioner Stevens, about?
Nope.
No? All right,
Ready to make a motion?
yeah. I'd just like to know with that, and I guess it's already been worked out, they'll be using the 84 as that main access point.
I believe so, sir. Mr. Salter, maybe you can answer that. Yes, sir.
Would you mind coming? Let's talk about getting in and out of there. I know you had to have already gone through it, but just share with us what.
Yes, they're gonna use off 84, it's got a turning lane already there. But there's another road that comes out that goes on 196, and had to use it.
Okay, so let's go.
I'll make the circle through the field.
All right. Are people, how much truck traffic you think? I mean, you said just,
I'm not sure, I mean,
Yeah.
all they gonna do, they gonna bring logs in there, run them across scale, unload them, put them on a concrete slabs, fumigate them, the next day they'll put them on containers and ship them to the port. So it'll be a continuous thing, but I don't think it's gonna be no traffic jam like that. I mean, it's just gonna be kind of
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be kind of a slow moving process.
the mixture of trucks and regular traffic getting done, but you already been through that. You already figured that out.
Yeah, I believe it'll be okay.
Getting them done.
We've had the Rocky Yard there for 20 years, with dump trucks and dump
You did,
trailers, and all,
right?
we've
Yeah,
never had
yeah.
any trouble.
Yeah, you did.
It's always been smooth.
Good point. Okay. All right, any other questions?
I'm just glad to be sitting here. I think when Gene's dad and Mark had it zoned the first time, I was not here. I was sitting where Marion was at, but I think you, like you just said there, and Commissioner Stevens knows as good as anything, you got a red light and got decel lanes, that's all you can ask for. So.
Yeah. All right, entertain a motion.
Just gonna make a motion that we rezone this piece of property, from B2 to I1 industrial.
Second.
Motion and second that we approve the rezone request as presented by Jim LCPC. Any further discussion? Everybody seems clear. All in favor, raise your right hand. Rezoning request is approved, Mr. Salter. Thank you, sir. Wish you well.
Thank you, Commissioners, and just want to give you a quick reminder, if you could fill out those financial interest forms if you voted there for that rezoning. All right, and we have one more zoning action for you tonight. So this is a special exception, 2021-31 LC. Mr. David Cheney, the owner, has submitted a request for a special exception to live temporarily for no more than 1 year in a motor coach on his property at 97 East First Street. This property is further described as parcel 281B45, and it is zoned R2 for single and two-family residential. It is located in District 4. So here is just an initial picture of the property. I've got some other ones later on in the presentation too, but and our sign. So just to give you an idea of where we are, we're in Isle of Wight, up in the top right corner here. You can see where a little arrow is pointing on First Street. This one is zoned R2, like everything around it, for single and two-family homes. So here's a little closer look at the property right here. So this is an older picture of the, like, you know, from the satellite view, but this is the property we're looking at right here. If you want to just kind of gauge it, the motor coach is sitting like about right here currently, and this small garage is still there. The house is not there anymore, and I think Mr. Cheney can probably explain that a little better here. I, David Cheney, very respectfully request a special exception for my motor coach located on my property in Midway. This request is being submitted for a period not to exceed 1 year. I'm a 100% disabled veteran and have encountered significant financial hardship during the last few years because of Hurricane Matthew and Hurricane Irma. The COVID-19 pandemic has completely stopped any progress within the SBA Disaster Assistance Office. I have an approved SBA disaster assistance loan, yet I'm unable to collect these monies to begin construction because of the COVID-19 backlog. Also, the unprecedented increase in lumber prices has delayed the distribution of funds, as per my case manager at the SBA. If you have any further questions about that, I'm sure Mr. Cheney will be able to answer them. So here's a closer look at the property. It goes to the motor coach in question. There's the garage that I mentioned, detached garage. These are the remains of the house that have been put back here. And then just the other angle of the property, you can see the water is right over this way. So our planning commission ran through that, and our the planning commission recommended approval for this action for, sorry, it says rezoning, but it's a special exception with standard conditions. So I can roll back to a picture of it, but if y'all have any zoning questions for me.
Okay. Talk about opposition or,
We've
Support.
had a few calls from neighbors who are not, you know, or who are opposed to this action. But yeah, that's, you know, yeah, I think we had 2 calls, I believe.
calls?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, there were some, I believe, in attendance that called that
Really?
wanted to speak.
And I believe some of y'all received some calls about this too separately from our office, so,
Well, let's hear from Mr. Cheney. Is he here?
yes, sir.
Let's hear from him. Let's hear from the petitioner first, then we hear from the other folk who came to speak to the, you just kind of share with us, sir. Come, yeah, yeah. Give us your name, sir, for the matter of record.
I'm David Cheney. I live at 97 East First Street, Midway, Georgia, 31320.
Okay. Give us a little more in-depth conversation on
have,
what you're trying to do here.
I lost this home to Hurricane Irma, and it's been a long time ago. It's been 2014. I have currently a case that's probably going to go to federal district court. I had flood insurance on this property, and I had property and casualty insurance on this property. I have never received a financial settlement on the property other than a pittance on the face value of the property. I did receive a letter of substantial damage from the county, which gave me the ability with FEMA to demolish the home. I have gone back in and trying to build a home there, but I have been caught up in COVID over the past almost a year and a half. Everything is slow at the SBA. And the SBA lady told me that there's 18 million cases in the hopper around the United States right now. And with the timber prices, they have to refigure everything. And it's just been, I've been paying a double mortgage since 2017. And it either is going to work here in the next couple of months or so, or that's it. I mean, I can't take it anymore. But I do think we're on the way to federal district court unless they change their mind. And I do have an approved permit and working with an architect out of Savannah that's designed the property. I did have a building permit on that property for a larger property, but I've had to move back because I haven't been able to receive the resources from the insurance. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Mr. Cheney, are you currently living in the motorhome?
I am right now, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Since 2014?
No, sir. Oh, no, sir. No, I was living in Reedsville at a family property that, and then plus I spent considerable time out west for my daughter's wedding. I haven't been in here for that length of time, and I stayed in Reedsville for a year and a half, 2 years. And my mother has since died. My younger brother got control of that property, and I had to leave. So that's when I purchased this property here. I didn't expect this to go on nearly this long. I mean, COVID just ground everything to a halt.
So how long have you been living in the motorhome?
It's been several months. It's probably been, I actually don't remember. I had to go before the magistrate to answer the question. So it's been over 6 months.
July 4th, 2019. I concur.
Well, you've got a better outlook. I don't know if I could say that I have been there full-time since that time. But certainly I've been there longer than I wanted to be.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Cheney before? All right, thank you, Mr. Cheney.
Thank you, sir.
All right, those who are here who would like to speak in opposition, we will give you the same opportunity. If there's a spokesperson, we'd rather you do that. Yeah.
My name's Reggie Woods. I'm David's immediate neighbor. I live right across the street from that picture.
Can you show us, Mr. Gunn, where he?
This is the garage right there.
Correct, that's my house. And then go up further, and that's my dock lot to the right.
Oh, here.
And so I chose to build across the street from the house and save on insurance.
Okay,
It's a little hard to see, but there's a tie right here. You can see between the properties. This is one continuous property.
okay, all right. I think we got it.
Okay, so I was understanding when he was passed by the planning commission 3-2 board rather, that he was going to build a garage on top of his garage, existing garage. And so, apartment, so that he could live in the apartment until he got his litigation through his insurance company. Well, that garage is on my property. So he cannot build an apartment on top of that garage. Number two, that garage was built in 1960s. It was not built to withstand a two-story apartment on top of it. It had to be torn down. He has to tear it down now anyway because it's on my property. You can see from this picture without having a survey, which I'm going to have to end up doing anyway because he's fighting me on the border by putting up T-posts and a string. It's just an annoyance, for me to mow the lawn to separate his property, but he's got it going around bushes right off of the road where you see the number 11 on the picture. And, I'm sorry, number 12?
Pointer. It's the-
So there's a bunch of bushes here. It kind of goes through those bushes, and it goes around these bushes, and then it goes to a straight line to the property. So it's like, he's deceiving that this line, that property, that garage is on my property. But it most definitely is.
Okay. So tell us a little more, though, about your opposition to his request. Well, go ahead.
A little more?
Yes, sir.
Let me-
Other than your next door neighbor, his garage, you say, is on your property.
Yeah, besides the
that-
fact that.
That's not what
that was part-
has y'all here today, though.
Well, we are because the planning commission approved it based on that he would build a garage. An apartment on top of that garage. And he
The garage
can't.
is not, the garage, is it attached to the house?
No.
So it's a
It's a
separate,
freestanding garage. And I didn't mind my previous neighbor, Mr. Johnny Brandt, Danny Brandt's father, and Rhonda Brandt. was Rhonda Brandt, right? No, Dana Brandt, I'm sorry. And very nice gentleman. You know, I moved there, and he died in that house and his wife. And, you know, I helped him out as much as I could. And so I just let it go. Well, David is, you know, just heck bent on getting, you know, encroaching over onto my property to the point that he's accused me of running, you know, my lawnmowers are running on his grass. That's why he put that up. Well, we never had to cover up ruts. That's not true. We never had to do any of that. It's just just a slow encroachment. It doesn't I don't even know why there's one there anyway, other than to deceive the fact that if you really go from point A to point B on the surveyed markers, that it will fall underneath that, right on the edge of that garage corner. And, you know, I don't blame David for trying to get money, you know, and build a new house. When he only got a certain amount of money from FEMA, you know, that's sad. But the house is, you know, built in 1960s, 70s. His plan was to just slowly, you know, remodel the house. He had gutted the entire house, and the hurricane came, so they all looking at it. Well, it doesn't have interior walls. Some of the ceiling was down. They said there was structural, you know, damage, and the concrete wasn't laid, you know, within code. So he didn't have an opportunity to get the money that he needed because of the house situation. And the property's worth more than the house was by far. So, you know, that's an unfortunate for David. You know, I felt sorry for him that he couldn't do that. But there's no way that he's going to be able to fight this litigation and get the money that he's seeking within a year to keep that mobile home there another year, which has already been there, 2 years now. And there's 3 properties on Isle of Wight, and I want to say in the last 6 months, I'm close, that have had to move their trailers because of the ordinance. And so they weren't given special acceptance to an ordinance. So I'm here today to tell you that if you're going to give David special acceptance to an ordinance, we're going to have campers all over Isle of Wight living in campers. And I have no problem with somebody doing that. Well, he's done it for 2 years. And we haven't said anything. But it's going to continue on. And I from what he's saying with the litigation, it can't be done within a year. So he's going to be back up here asking for another special exception. And I don't really understand why the border, between me and him is such a big deal that he's got to put up T-post and, a surveyor tape to split our property to make sure that I know that I can't go any inch on his property. Well, you got a big rock pile hired in your camper in your yard. Your pool has been, torn, the whole one wall on his pool is caved in. His whole dock is shattered and sitting on the side of the Jericho River. And you worried about, our little property line. And I'm getting into some personal things that I really didn't want to get into.
You are, and I was just getting ready to tell you that.
But I don't want to
Did we
make
get your
it
name for the matter of
personal.
record?
I apologize, David, for getting into personal, but
Yeah.
if
Today is
things hadn't have turned out like they did, and we could just get along, everything be fine, but there's a board award that started, and I didn't start it.
And-
I've been trying my hardest, honestly,
Yeah,
to make this work.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
I don't see where it's going to work. And if he's going to be there another year, he's going to need another special exception. And
And the speech you're making now, you made the same speech at LCPC? No, did not? Okay.
no, unfortunately, I think only one person called in on the planning board. So they didn't have any opposition because And and a lot of people talked about it, and we felt like he didn't have any opposition because it was against ordinance. How could you possibly win when it's completely against ordinance? And
see.
we didn't say anything.
All right, I understand.
Sir, sir. What was your name now?
Reggie Woods,
Mr. Woods. How long has this garage, or what it is called, how long has it been there? The one right there up on the map? One right there.
correct.
How long has it been there?
It's been there, the previous owner built it, when that happened, when that lot of mine was completely just nothing but trees. He built it then, and he admitted that it's on my side of the property. And I said, well, it's just the eve. I said, you know, I don't have an issue with it.
Not then.
Not then. Mr. Brandt was a very nice guy. And that makes a difference.
Okay.
As long as somebody's cordial to you, you know, they're an old man, used to help him fix his lawnmowers. We used to have nice conversations. We didn't have border wars. We didn't have any issues.
Thank you, and we're not going to fight a border war here tonight either.
Chairman, I think we might need to just postpone this until the,
Let me
maybe the
do one
next
other thing.
meeting.
Thank you, sir. Don't lose train of thought. But the request tonight is simply what he presented. That's by having the motor coach there, and that's it. Everything else you guys have to work out in the courts. I have you work those out. But tonight it's about giving permission.
Well, I got off topic, but the main thing is he
understand.
cannot build his apartment
understand.
on an unstructured, not,
Yeah. And that will be something that he'll have to deal with planning and zoning when it comes to that structure and what will be allowed and not be allowed. Yeah.
well,
All right. Thank you, sir. All right.
based on the special exception too.
Yes, sir.
But
Can't,
apartment's coming first.
yeah. I hear you.
Sorry, I'd like to clarify something.
Good.
Yes, when Mr. Cheney presented to the planning commission, he talked about building an apartment above that garage. But I just want to make sure y'all know that would actually be under the consideration of the building and licensing office. Not our office.
No, that's true. That's true. It's out in the county. That's right. I have to be reminded of that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Surprised Jeff didn't say that. Yeah. Yeah, last statement, please, sir.
I've had this survey 3 times and also different architects. I had to have a survey done for the elevation certificate in order to build this house. I never planned to do anything with the garage that he's speaking out of. It's termite ridden anyway. It's gonna fall down. The thing that I'm gonna do is completely on the other side, and I'm using an architect that's designing plans, and those are gonna be submitted through to the county like I did before on the other house. That, if it gets all the way down to it, that is a substandard lot, and that lot used to be number 12 and 13, but the lots were split in half, and you got half of the lot over here on this side, and then you got another lot over here on this side. The land line is the line that follows the deed, and it also follows the survey.
Okay, thank you. Now, for y'all's information, the commissioner for your district, Commissioner Jones, could not be here. He wants to have say-so in this decision. So he asked us if we were here, do the hearing. He's going to listen to it on Facebook Live, or whatever. And then we're going to bring you guys back at the mid-month meeting for the decision. All right, but tonight was for, he called to respectfully ask that we hear you guys out. He's going to listen to it himself. And then at our mid-month meeting, and Jeff will tell you when that is, we'll make our decision at that time.
Okay,
All right.
and just my last statement,
Okay.
the survey, I talked to his surveyor guys and told him, please do not go by this stake by the water, by the river, because it is not official, and my neighbor put this stake down. It is a rebarb, it's not even a stake. And they said, oh, no, we're professionals, we won't do that. So then I looked, and they put a stake by the rebarb. So I called the real surveyor that actually writes the survey out. And I said, sir, I said, I've noticed you got a, marker down. He goes, oh yeah, they found a marker. Was there one, there was one there already? I'm like, well, I specifically asked you guys not to go by that marker because it wasn't official. I'm the only guy in Isle of Wight that has a 50, everybody else has 60-foot lots. Mine is only 57.77. So I have to get a new survey because of all this, because that is not right.
All right.
But even though where it is,
Yeah,
that garage still falls on my property.
all right, sir. All right, I'm sorry y'all have gotten to this.
Well, it was only recently.
Yeah, all right. All right, mid-month meeting, we'll put you on the agenda.
Will I have a chance to speak, sir?
I thought he was the spokesperson for,
I have
I didn't actually officially sign up as a spokesperson.
well, I said, send me the spokesperson, whoever could be the, you had something different than,
in addition, yes.
oh, good. Come on, sir, give us your name.
My name is Frank Purcell. I'm going to read from a statement. I'm going to keep it short and sweet,
Thank you, sir.
all right? And I have some photos, Mr. Brown, if you would provide these.
Sure, be glad to.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I thought you meant out.
Greetings, my name is Frank Purcell, an Isle of Wight, East First Street resident and property owner within 200 feet of Mr. Cheney's property. Mr. Cheney keeps a demolished residence stored as a huge pile of rubble on his property with the potential of infestation to include a dilapidated in-ground swimming pool, which essentially is a mosquito hazard to the environment and a potential health hazard to our local population. For at least 2 years or more, Mr. Cheney has been in violation of the county ordinance restricting motorhomes as residences in R2 zoned areas. He has been cited for this violation and now is requesting special exception to now be allowed to remain using his motorhome as his home. This, I feel, will be an embarrassment to this board if you choose to choose this following action for these reasons. An approval of this request will essentially set a precedent for others to make more of the same requests, further causing harm to property values and damage the community harmony we historically have shared. And anyone who knows Mr. Cheney knows he expresses intentions that he has no intention to keep. It has been heard that his true intention is to remain on said property, only to gather plans to relocate to reside nearby his family somewhere out west. I hereby oppose this action in regards to restoring the peace and tranquility we once had in our neighborhood, and request denial of the special exception. A previous letter has been sent to our commissioner, Mr. Maxie Jones, in regards to this action, to which I will not present, but will concur with the statements within. End of statement.
Thank you, sir. All right, you be in touch with the commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, you had a motion to
Table.
table this?
Yes, sir.
From Commissioner Stevens?
Yes,
I'll second
Commissioner
it. I
Jones.
also wanted to mention one thing that's a little puzzling to me. Of course, I've heard both the people in opposition to it, Frank and his neighbor there, but the one question that I had was was the mobile home or the travel trailer or whatever, was it ever approved by zoning to have it put out there? Did Liberty County zoning?
No,
Okay,
sir.
then do you know if there was a permit to park it out there?
There wouldn't have been any sort of a permit for parking in.
Okay, but did y'all communicate with our building inspections to see if there'd been one out there?
Jeff, do you want
Has
to?
there ever been a building any type of a permit? No, the magistrate don't do that. The magistrate tells you to move it. That's what I'm questioning is, have we got a permit from Mr. Zeckman's office that gives him permission to have it out there?
No, Mr. Zeckman's office is the one that took him to the magistrate because he didn't have a permit.
Okay, so right now, it's in violation.
That's correct.
The magistrate said to move it, Mr. Cheney?
No, sir, the magistrate directed me to go through the steps that I'm going through.
Right now? Okay,
To rectify.
all right, and then,
He understood the situation and the circumstances.
Right, well, I mean, 2 years is 2 years, where you said it was 2019, some say 2014.
July.
I remember when Irma and the other one came through, got a real good memory of that, but the distance from a property line to put a building up, that is how far, Jeff?
Well, for one like that, an accessory building, it's 10 feet.
It's 10 feet, so right now, that one there would be encroaching on the property line if, in fact, so that right there is I wanted to make sure I asked these questions right here, and the variance that the time you've already been out there, Mr. Cheney, you've been there for 2 years.
I have not been there on a full-time basis.
Well, I know you got wheels under it, but what I'm saying, you've had it for 2 years going and coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, do they have power out there? Do we have power? Septic
From the house, from the previous house.
from the previous house? It's just that it was not approved. And when he went to magistrate court, which is useless, it lost it. It's still sitting in magistrate court, correct?
The magistrate sent him to you guys.
Because she don't want to do
Kind
nothing.
of parked it, and they referred him to you as a administrative remedy.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, like I said, I stand behind the second of the motion
Yes,
that we
sir.
hear it just as soon as possible.
Mid-month.
If mid-month to be fine,
Yes, sir.
that's fine with me.
All in favor of that motion? All right, we'll hear that mid-month meeting. You all are welcome to come back at that time. All right. But it's been good, so we get to hear the whole, get to hear the whole lot, actually. A lot more than we expected to
Mr.
hear.
Chairman, if, I know Mr. Jones couldn't be here today, but if for some reason Mr. Jones can't be here, which is next Thursday, be the mid-month meeting.
We'll move on.
15th.
Yeah, we'll have to move
We'll
on
make
with
a
it, yeah.
decision
We'll
at that
move on.
time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, good.
Thank you. We'll move on. Yeah.
All right.
What's that?
Thank you, commissioners.
All right?
Thank you.
Chair, we can just adjourn and go back to regular meeting.
All right, Chair, entertain the motion to adjourn and go back to regular.
So
meeting.
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second, all in favor? All right.
Mr. Chairman, before we move right along there, I know there's been a lot of talk, and what we talked about, and Joey, I know you'll be glad to give Mr. Cheney the information about when the next meeting is and the time frame that he's got. Like what Commissioner Gillard said, we may have to push it on another meeting, but make sure everybody knows
It
the program.
seemed pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. All right, Ms. Sanchez.
Yeah.
Good evening.
I'm here to present, can you hear me okay? Here to present the final plat for the colonies at Habersham Plantation, Phase 3A. This is the owner is Habersham Development Group. The TR Long Engineering designed this project. It is 8 lots for single-family homes on 9.17 acres, and it's on Wilkins Road, which is off of Habersham Road. This is one phase of what was preliminary platted a few months ago, which was a total of 53 lots, and I forget how many acres exactly it was. But Phase 3A is the 8 lots that are roughly in this corner here of what was Phase 3. And just to point out again that this star right here is where the community water system is for this development. This was the overall preliminary plat for the entirety of Phase 3. I've outlined in red here what is the 8 lots that are part of the final plat for Phase 3A. One thing I'd like to point out here that the lots, the 5 lots on this side, the property lines do go to the center line of the pond, and there's another pond back here that's part of this lot as well. And it's kind of hard to see, but right along here especially, the road is not centered within the right-of-way. So one change they have made from the preliminary plat to this final plat is starting right here at this corner, they've increased the right-of-way by 7 feet for the entirety along here to this point. So they couldn't make this entire portion 7 feet wider because this lot right here in the corner was preliminary, it was final platted already in Phase 2. So this is the actual final plat. I've just added color just to show you. It's not actually part of the official final plat, but these are the 5 lots over here and the 3 lots over here. The lots range in size from roughly 21,800 square feet to just under 32,000 square feet of usable area. The net lots are bigger, but especially the ones that have the pond in the back here and here. This lot is actually like over 2 acres, and it's got about 25,000 square feet of usable area. There are drainage easements around the ponds, and there's also drainage easements to bring street drainage to the pond, but that is not the responsibility of the county. The county will only be responsible for the drainage within the right-of-way for the public street. As I mentioned, this is, Phase 3 was a total of 53 lots, and this one is 8 lots. And so they're only dedicating approximately 740 linear feet of Wilkins Road to the county at this time. Each lot will have its private on-site sewage disposal system and will be served by that privately operated community water system. The Liberty County Health Department does have jurisdiction over the septic systems, and they have signed off on the final plat. And it's noted that review and approval by the department for each septic system placement is required prior to issuance of a construction permit. So as I mentioned, in addition to the streets being dedicated to the county, the drainage system within the street is also being dedicated. The ponds and the drainage facilities outside of the street right-of-way will be the responsibility of either the HOA or the property owner. And there is a note on this plat that indicates that this responsibility has to be noted on the deeds for these lots that are sold. There are still a few required improvements, but have not yet finished, which is typical. They don't like to build sidewalks or put in street trees while they're constructing houses because they'll just get destroyed. But installation guarantees in the form of cash that are now in an escrow account have been provided for the primary improvements for $579.60. This includes the grassing within the right-of-way. And for the secondary improvements, $29,532 is for the sidewalks and the trees along the street. Initially, at the time that this was submitted to Maria at the administrator's office, they were going to provide a letter of credit for the $8,002.20 for the maintenance. In lieu of that, they have provided and has turned in a check for that amount that will also be held in escrow. So they're covered on all accounts for the installation guarantees and the maintenance guarantees. The Planning Commission, at its meeting last month, recommended approval with standard conditions for the final plat for the colonies at Habersham Plantation, Phase 2A. And the property owner and the engineers are both here if you have any questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Ma'am, did I hear you clearly saying that the water going to the holding pond will not be the responsibility of the county?
Correct.
Okay, what happens when that holding pond gets filled?
It's,
Where does the water flow to then?
let me just step it. So there is a whole drainage system. There's this pond in the middle, which is designed to hold the water for the 25-year storm, which is what our regulations require. And I guess I would leave it up to the engineer to indicate where the water goes from there.
Right.
It was the county that did the construction plan review for this project, not.
You back.
Yes, sir. How are y'all?
You?
I'm Charles Way. I'm Habersham Development Group. So if you look at that large pond in the middle, towards sort of the right-hand corner of it,
You can click and.
Oh, yeah.
It's the green button. Yeah.
right there,
Mm-hmm.
there are 2 previously controlled or installed outlet control structures that were designed when this subdivision was originally put in place. So water goes from the lots either to the street, and if they go to the street, they go into a culvert, which then goes to the pond, or if the water off the back of the lots goes directly into the pond. When the pond rises to a certain level, it spills into the control structure, which then pipes it into this little pond,
which then has its own outlet control structure that eventually discharges it into the wetland area. And all that's part of the approved drainage system. TR Long did all the hydrology model calculations and that sort of thing.
And this is you, or this is Commissioner?
Commissioner Jones?
Oh, but we got to stand in for him tonight, yes. He didn't have to table this one.
Okay.
Listen.
I wanted to, were you through, Commissioner Stevens?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was, understood that you said the ditches would be the responsibility of the county?
The roadside ditches are in the right of way. Now, they'll be graded by us. We will install the driveway culverts for each of the individual lots, and the homeowner will be responsible for cutting the grass and those sorts of things. I'd have to defer to Marty or the engineer on where that demarcation goes as far as what the county's responsible for. But I think that's just referring to the pipes that go under the road, and if there's a issue with those or a failure in the future, just like if you had curb inlets, if there was a pipe under the road, that would
But
be.
is all of it, is part of that curb and gutter?
No, sir.
None of it?
Oh, it's open.
This is dirt.
The entire planned development was previously approved to have no curb and gutter.
Well, I think we had an area there that Commissioner Gillard and I went in and looked at. That was the first part of it that we actually held up because they didn't have the concrete over some of the manholes. We went in there and looked at it one day, but that was probably before your time.
The entrance road out there does have curb and gutter, what I'd call
And
the
that was what,
line road.
I was under the impression it was all gonna be curb and gutter, but it's not gonna be curb and gutter, Jeff?
Not this phase. I mean, the original entrance road was curb and gutter, but this phase was approved as a ditch crossing.
That's what we discussed when he was here last time.
Pardon me?
That's what we discussed when he was here last time.
That's right. It was approved, and they're bringing it back now for a final plat of what you previously approved.
And phase 1 and 2 were previously built are also roadside ditch culverts.
Well, I'm looking at the fella with his hands on his chin back there that's got to be in charge of getting it fixed, and was my next question, is that's gonna be a burden. I mean, Clint, I wanna hear from you. I mean, it's not in my district, but
I don't think we've actually had to go in there to do anything, to be honest with you.
So when we,
all the pretty well grassed, and I don't think we've had to do anything.
so it'll be grassed, and then in the end, what you'll do is you'll have to sit up in the road and mow it
Well, them homeowners generally, they mow.
Yes, yes.
all the way up to the asphalt?
Mm-hmm.
We got the tractors, we don't go in there.
Okay.
I mean, just, if you had curb and gutter,
Like I
you know,
said,
the homeowner would typically cut the grass all the way to the back of curb, even if it's in the right of way. It'll be the same here. And so when I have my year closeout of my maintenance bond, part of that will be permanent grassing in the ditches. And when they go and build the houses, they will sod the front yards as well as the bottom of the ditch up to the edge of the asphalt.
So then the culvert pipes that he's speaking about, those will be the responsibility, it'll revert back to you. So if one gets broke, you've got to dig it up and fix it.
Well,
Which is gonna be cemented over?
It's all reinforced concrete pipe.
But what Commissioner Wallen, I'm just piggybacking off what he's saying, after you concrete it out all the way to the road, driveway pipes get broke, Mr. Wells got to go in and replace that pipe and replace that cement.
The drive.
I don't think
No,
the residential driveway is.
I would think the driveway would be the responsibility of the homeowner.
homeowner.
The culvert and the driveway, all the way out to the road should
We
be
need
the
to,
responsibility.
we need to
of
make sure that's clear now.
If the homeowner does something, I don't know, just warranty the pipe, I don't know what he would do, but, yeah, we might can make them pay for it, but generally, the way it works from the right of way on is us. We have to maintain it.
We would have to replace, if something happened with the culvert under the driveway, if it collapsed or something like that, we would have to replace it? the county?
Normally, if it's built as part of the development and paved as part of development, and we accept it already paved, then normally we would. Now, if it was a section where it was accepted by the county that was, not concreted from asphalt to there, and the homeowner made improvements to it, then normally it'd be the homeowner's responsibility.
Yeah, I don't know, I was just thinking that from the paved road to his house, the garage, that he puts a culvert under there so that he can access his house from the road, which means, so he puts a pipe under there that, that fits the drainage.
And the culvert is.
But that's his.
I follow you completely, but I think when we accept it in place, as we will, once those improvements are in place, then I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but to answer your question, that has been the county's responsibility.
I would say that the culverts are not in place right now. Those, the culverts and the driveways will be installed with the homes.
Right.
So if that's a line of demarcation there, I mean, as it stands tonight, the driveway culverts are not in. What's in is the concrete pipe and the culverts going underneath the road that will pass the water from this side of the ditch to this side of the ditch, and then there's a culvert that goes from the road back to the pond. The county's primary responsibility, as I understand it, is the culvert that crosses underneath the road.
Under the road.
And I'm not disagreeing with you at all, and it could be, if y'all decide to, that we need to look into changing.
I think we do, Joey,
somehow.
because that's more private than anything. The driveway from the county road to the resident that's how he's planning on getting there. So he puts a pipe under there so that the water can flow, and he takes that concrete driveway up to his house. And if he didn't want to do that, he could park on the side of the road and jump the ditch and go in there.
Well, and the reason I brought that up is you have people now that'll pull in front of a residence and block the driveway, and they'll say, well, this belongs to the county. This driveway belongs to the county, and that's why, the driveway actually is to the residents, but they'll park from one end to the other. Even right here in town, we've seen that, and I'm sure Mr. Giller knows what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But my other question is, the maintenance in the long term is, we constantly are trying to pave our dirt roads and try to put curb and gutter in when we can, and I thought, and it's my mistake, it's not
Not that
something I drive and look at, but the front part of it is curb and gutter in there. And if a moving van decides, okay, well, I can make it in there and then I crush the culvert, who's gonna fix it?
I would, again, that's something that y'all will have to decide, I guess. But
We will.
if it were a curb and gutter subdivision and somebody dropped a forklift or a pallet on somebody's driveway right behind the back of the curb, I don't think that would be the county's responsibility to fix it. That would be the homeowner's responsibility to fix it. I don't think the circumstances are really that different. But, again, that's.
I'd be glad, I can talk to
Okay.
Mr. Davis and see how we can do that.
Yeah, we
Make
could-
sure it follows the deeds and stuff after it changes hands 3
But
times.
I do know that Mr. Wells in the road department, over time, if there was some blockage or some drainage or some silt built up in that open ditch, that the county would have to go in there and excavate it, to remove that. I mean, that wouldn't be up to the homeowner. That would be the road department's responsibility. I would think.
And I believe that part of their final inspection for the homes is that the ditch is stabilized with sod and the pipe's free of sediment before they get their CO. So once you have permanent grass down, that risk is minimized. Not to say that it won't ever happen,
Oh, it will.
but
That is a pancake out there. It will.
It will.
All right.
Appreciate
So,
it, thank you.
yeah, thank y'all.
somebody stand in for Commissioner Jones, if you will. Yes, sir.
Before we go there, I just want to ask a question. Since we're going to take this back to the attorney, how can we net that in,
I thi-
whichever way we go with the motion?
I think you mean that for future.
I would, yes, we're really talking in the future.
Future.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah.
Not with this
Not
one,
with
but
this
in the
one.
future.
In the future.
In the future.
This is one that's going to get by, another one.
Yeah. Yeah,
The next one.
yeah.
So you, Mr. Chairman, you wanted to,
Yes, sir.
yes. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval with standard conditions for the final plat of the colonies at Habersham Plantation Phase 3A.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second with the notes that we're giving our county administrators as we look forward to future growth for the county. It's not about you. You just brought
No.
something to us that we need to address. We need to address. All right. All in favor? Any opposed?
Yeah, now, this is the one that, one opposed. But this is the one that I think Commissioner Jones had,
He
talked
did.
about when one of his first meetings.
He did.
Yeah, and, he has some real,
If it's not, too late now.
kind of late now, though, I think it was 3-1.
Too late.
3-1.
Yeah.
Did we vote on it?
Well, hopefully we got
We
some
did.
good stewards, and that's not gonna be the only place they wanna build, so, I mean, I appreciate you being up front with us on it. That's all we want is something that's gonna last for some time. And the reason that I've addressed it is we have a couple of issues where it's not been done, and, Clint's gotta maintain them. Adam knows that as good as anybody, so we just wanna make sure we're doing the right thing. And I'm sure that after tonight, it'll be done right.
All right. Speaking of Clint, Public Works.
There he is.
Clint, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, son, but you know
That's fine, that's fine.
that's where the rubber meets the road,
Yep, that's fine, it's all
or the
good.
water meets the ditch, whatever you gonna call it.
Want to meet the pipe.
Road Department.
And speaking of that, the state has gone to that here lately. They don't do near as much on driveway as you pretty much on your own with the state.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I found that out, even on their own roadside ditches, they won't hardly do anything.
They grant you an easement, it's what they say to cross their property. Whatever it takes for you to cross it is on you, and they tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that, the way we're going, we're probably gonna need to adopt that, Mr. Chairman. We need to get, I guess, with our LCP.
As we have more growth in unincorporated Liberty County.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a place for that definitely in them residential areas, because like you say, getting in there trying to clean ditches and all that, so.
What, just think about it. If we say it's ours, then somebody could park there if they wanted to. And then if the guy said, well, wait a minute, this is mine.
As we've done in the past, once you accept it from the back of that right of way on is ours.
But they do treat it like it's theirs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious. That's the reason why. I'm
Parked in front of
saying-
my house.
I mean, you can block it because it's actually a city, county, or whatever you want to call it.
Anybody that we put in driveways for, we charge them for the initial, for the first driveway. We charge them, they pay, and we put it in.
But see, I know in certain parts of Hinesville, they got that corrugated metal that's just decaying and eroding.
Yeah, we don't use it.
So can you imagine if the city took that ownership, we'd be out there doing construction all day long because all the metal pipes need to be replaced. The homeowners replacing now because they belong to.
Yeah, that's definitely something needs to be looked at, because
Yeah.
like you said, you'd spend all your time
Yeah.
doing that.
Have to get a
The
construction.
only thing I would be, so I had to step out and make sure you knew in the meeting is how you track and know which ones are grandfathered because they were before tonight, which ones are not going forward.
Yeah,
And how
yeah.
that's kept even going forward. I guess once you say all these are gonna be grandfathered by address, but somebody's gonna have to track that, so that when somebody gets a call to a pipe, they know whether it's covered or not, So,
Well, I
we gotta
think-
work that out.
Yeah.
I think you can,
On grandfather.
But we can work that out. We can get it worked out however you want to do it.
Let me leave the county first.
Yeah,
We'll get that worked out.
change it from a grandfather to a first cousin.
well, let me say this.
Get it worked out.
You can leave here tonight and drive within 2.5 miles of here, and there's brand-new homes that Clinton has already been in there. They ain't even moved in them, and he's had to go in there and clean the ditches out already. And there's not a soul living in those areas. but you still got, I mean, in order for it to drain, we've got to have our structures cleaned, and I see it every day, and they ain't even, nobody paying taxes on the houses yet, so.
What you got, sir?
Well, what I'm here for is probably something I've never done, is get y'all to rescind a vote we took on the grapple truck. Mm-hmm. I knew the truck wasn't quite what it was supposed to be spec-wise. The truck was in Augusta. When they delivered it, it just wasn't gonna work. So sent that truck back. I just need to get y'all to rescind that so I can rebid it.
You talking about the grapple, like
grapple truck.
what Mike Howard drives,
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
What's wrong with it?
With the body wasn't as big as what it's supposed to be.
Okay,
It was
okay,
26 yard. I was under the impression it was a 26 yard.
okay,
And we bid a 30,
okay,
but when it got there, it was not a 26 yard.
okay.
You said it's not the 26 yard?
It was 20 yard.
Man, yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, we can do
All
that.
right, help us to formulate that,
So it
sir.
would be a motion and a second to rescind an earlier motion to approve the bid to Freightliner Savannah for the purchase of the grapple truck.
I'll make that motion just exactly how he pressed. You did a good job of taking words right out of my mouth.
Second.
Yeah.
Took the words out of your mouth, too?
Yep.
Motion and second, that we rescind the bid, Freightliners, you said.
And I thank you, and I apologize. That was on me.
All right, let's vote.
And as part of that's to rebid, so we'll be taking.
All
bids
right.
again on it.
And the other thing I got is the transfer station. We wanted to brief y'all about changing hours, that we accept customers to 7:30 to 3:30. You know, my guys still get there 7 to 4, but that gives us, what happens in the evening times, you get a run at 3:30, 4
Trying to get
o'clock.
in.
And then I'm paying them guys overtime to,
Yeah.
you know, to stay and work. So what we wanted to do is stop the scale customers, their hours 7:30 to 3:30.
Do you have many of the, like the haulers, like Republic, or, I know my guys are out of there by 1 o'clock, but Walthallville, does anyone come?
Sometimes Walterville comes in late, and and as me and Johnny talked, that wouldn't apply to,
Okay.
Another
we
government.
work with y'all in the cities. We gonna get all y'all in regardless,
Take care of your neighbors.
whatever it takes.
Okay.
Clinton, on the truck now, I mean, you sending that one back and you got to rebid. What's gonna be the turnaround time for the?
A year.
A year.
That's why
boy.
we was trying to make that one work.
Yeah, I
boy.
figured it's gonna be a while.
Yep, because they had that one on a lot in Augusta. And if I'd have looked at the truck before then, but I didn't want to drive to Augusta to look at the truck, and they wasn't gonna bring it down here till.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown want to pay you to go up there?
He ain't let me go nowhere, man. Please.
Let them bring it.
Clint, the next time you want to go up there, just send me and Gary. We'll go up there.
We all got it.
We have to go through Midway
District 1.
first.
I ain't gonna say.
District 1.
Go through District 1, get there.
Have anything to do with that? Just ride around.
Clint, just tell him what we made for you. We helped you.
Mr. Mosley, we have done good selling a old truck. I think, what, 91,000?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Some of the stuff that brought, I would have never believed it, but.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, that's good.
All right, sir, that concludes your,
I'm done.
you done? All
I'll
right,
get out of y'all's hair.
Mr. Wells? All right,
Sir.
thank you. What about the street sweeper?
Street sweeper, I got it. I got the,
well, on his,
another guy coming to work the
on his,
19th. I got to train him.
we good?
Another guy that had to quit.
Maybe just something changing the hours.
So,
Well, now, you let him drive a truck. You didn't give him a broom, did you?
oh no, we got a brand new truck, nice one.
All right.
Turnaround.
Thank you for coming to visit.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I know Mr. Dodd's here.
Yeah.
During the departmental stuff, you might want to.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dodd, come on, sir, if you will. Talk about Elsa and what she's doing out there.
That was gonna be one of my questions tonight.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, just a quick update on Tropical Storm Elsa. This was the 5 o'clock update. It says the center of Tropical Storm Elsa is located approximately 155 miles southwest of Tampa and was moving north at 10 miles an hour. It is expected to continue that track until later tonight or in the morning and slowly start to turn northeast. Currently, we are under a tropical storm watch in Liberty County, and Elsa has sustained winds of 70 miles per hour measured near the center with tropical storm force winds extending outwards at 90 miles. Elsa is expected to gain hurricane strength before making landfall sometime tomorrow and will lose strength as it moves inland to the northeast. On the current forecast track, the center of the storm is expected to pass over our area sometime tomorrow. The system has slowed, but if it maintains the current speed, we may experience tropical storm force winds starting in the morning and lasting on into tomorrow night. These may be winds from 39 to 50 miles per hour. The major impact expected from the storm for our area is significant rainfall. We can expect from 2 to 4 inches during that period with local higher rainfall amounts possible. And that was based off of the 5 o'clock National Hurricane Brief, sir.
Okay.
Chair. My question was gonna be tonight to you and Mr. Brown. I didn't know he was coming. But, Robert, how do this information actually now get disseminated out to the public?
Yes, sir. So we put it on Facebook. We've sent out, I've sent out emails every day since Thursday, I believe, Thursday.
Last week.
So we've sent it out.
I mean, yeah, I'm getting it, but I'm talking about public.
So we got, I sent it to 6 groups. The commissioners is a group. I got a public, like when we go to, when we go to churches or local briefs, we people sign up for Alert Liberty, and then we add them to our email, our contact list for a weather public event.
When did you say we'd start getting some of, tomorrow morning?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, still, I think I see Mr. Brown got a look on his face over there. Go ahead.
Well, we did a, we did a Facebook taping this afternoon, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
After the National Weather Service briefing that went out on Facebook, and then in that briefing, we give, watch Facebook, watch the website, we give out those addresses on there. We also do a little press release that we send over to the newspaper, although, you know, that's not really the way to get things out. Really, the social media is the way to get it out. We also, if we get into a serious enough event, we'll do that push over Alert Liberty. And of course, encourage people to sign up there, so it'll ring and/or send text messages to where they want.
Well, let me ask this question. What you send me, I can also send that out from me to others.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm trying to, not, I don't want the circle to be right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the hope, that people will take it and push it.
Okay, because I remember one time before we had a storm and we got kind of like hands tapped on.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
that was so that we all didn't create our own messages.
Right, and, right.
But would love for you to push out that official release.
So what we get from him, we can now send it out, which is official, to other Facebook viewers or whatever.
And a lot of people share our Facebook.
Share it,
pages.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's what I want,
Yes, sir.
that's the answer that I'm looking for.
You read that straight from the National Weather Service, what you just said?
Not straight.
5 o'clock? Well,
Yes, sir.
not straight, but
Yes, sir.
semi.
Abbreviated. Yes, sir.
Semi-straight?
Yes, sir.
If you give me a copy of the press release.
Yes, sir. So we
Must-
thought they was going to send slides at 6 o'clock, but they just sent a one-pager. They didn't do a slide deck.
Yeah.
It's a one-pager, and I do
Yeah.
have that.
Okay.
There's an app called Windy, WINDY.com, and that's a real good app for
Yes, ma'am.
tracking
We
storms.
use it.
That's
We
why
got different models that we
co-ops
run in our
use.
office. But we,
So anyway,
we
that's
use
a
You
good
coming out of
app.
Charleston?
He's coming out
Using the
Charleston.
Charleston.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Reason I said that, my sister works at Pastor Decent Station in the mornings, and she'll, if you give me something that's concise, or she'll help air that, kind of like Mr. Stephen had get a lot of folk who don't,
You
a lot of the seniors don't do Facebook. But they're watching WTUC, they're watching the news, so they'll catch that.
The Weather Channel's great.
They'll catch
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
They'll catch.
So
But you
it
know,
goes out.
but I like Liberty County specific as much
Right.
as possible, you know, so, yeah.
Because I heard, one of the reasons I asked, I heard that Hines will send out a blast this afternoon. Where did they get it from? I don't know.
Well, she did call, Miss Heather called our office, and then we told her she was sharing our stuff.
Okay.
So we already.
Y'all collaborated. Okay.
As long as we can close up that communication gap,
Yes, sir.
the better we are.
All right. Thank you, sir. Keep us posted.
Okay?
I will share one last thing. Tomorrow is our regular COVID update that we do. So following the COVID update, we're going to also do a storm update
Okay.
at 12 o'clock. So,
Oh, okay.
At 12?
yes, sir. Actually, I think the COVID update is at 11:15, 11:20, actually, somewhere along there, 11:30.
11:30.
And then as soon as it wraps up, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and do
When
it.
is this? This gonna be on Facebook?
Facebook Live.
We do it the first Wednesday.
It would be the COVID update, then
Oh,
the
yeah, we're
weather.
gonna move it
And
over.
then the weather update.
Then the
yeah.
weather update. Now, is this just gonna be tomorrow, or is it gonna be every day until this goes
It'll
away?
probably just be tomorrow. The event, at the timing of the winds, earliest onset on the winds is supposed to be sometime in the morning. It's slowed down now
Yeah,
even
yeah.
further. I think to about 6 miles an hour. That's a
Winds are
change, in
not
fact,
bad.
from 2 o'clock. So it may take a longer period of time for it to pass over us, but once it hits land, it's
Right.
projected to accelerate and get caught up in the front that's in there. And so it should be out of our area really by tomorrow night, early Thursday morning, 2 a.m. or so in the morning if it stays on track.
Okay, all right,
So hopefully the 12 o'clock's the only time we'll have to do it.
okay, good. Hope you don't have to do it earlier.
Hope we don't. I hope we don't have to come back on later to talk about any damage.
That's right. That too.
Mr. Cheney, don't get no more damage.
Hey, Mr. Brown, Safe Harbor,
Yes, sir. I don't, Ms. Kennedy evidently couldn't make it.
well, we'll
See her.
reschedule her.
We'll talk.
Forestry Board appointment, I'm moving on.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, your right side is ready.
Keep picking.
You hear that, Eddie?
Mr. Chairman, we make a recommendation that Mr. John B. Long be appointed to the Georgia Forestry Board.
Motion second that we appoint Mr. John B. Long to the Georgia Forestry Board for Liberty County. Any discussion on that nomination? None, all in favor of the nomination presented? All right.
Mr. Chair, one other thing, while you're on that, Mr. Brown and Miss Maria, myself, we sit down and we went over the appointment board list, and I think pretty soon we should have it current like it should be. We did find a few shortfalls and some who were not attending meetings, so I think Mr. Brown is going to address those with the individuals, later. And then we should have a current, up-to-date, roster for the appointment board.
See, the right side.
Right side's got it.
Thank you.
You gonna send the information to Mr. Green?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll be contacting the forestry representative.
Fire protection agreements?
This is a consideration of renewal of agreement. We've already done this one also with Riceboro. This is actually for
Walterville,
Walterville to do theirs. And that's just to take the unincorporated area, their primary response zone is down EB Cooper, going toward Riceboro, is where this covers. No change in the cost, it's $13.33 a month for a 12-month period.
We need to do these separately, or?
You can do them at the same time, I think. Mr. Chairman, they're both the same amount.
Okay, all right.
Do that, and I will tell you, as far as response goes, they do respond. We haven't had any problems with non-response.
All right, Chair, entertain a motion that we approve this agreement for fire protection with Riceboro and Walterville.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor? Agreement's approved, renewed. There's an acronym here, Hinesville CRSSSA.
So you're gonna ask me what that is? I can tell you it, just right off the top of my head, that it's the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriation Act.
Can't run Southside America.
And that's not, and I didn't know off the top of my head. That is, it is basically leftover CARES Act money that was given to the state who gave a portion to rural airports. This would be to apply to get our $13,000 back. It goes against the operational budget for all the partners, so it helps reduce our annual cost.
Okay.
Just need a motion to
He said to get it back. Somebody make a
accept the
motion.
resolution.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is second, all in favor? All right, get the money back. All right. Announcements.
Only to say we'll be monitoring and be doing push-outs to y'all if anything changes, other than what you've heard, but it's supposed to just be really a major rainfall event. Charleston said today somewhere probably between 3 and 5, with some areas it could get up to 8 inches of rain, and that's be over a 24-hour period, so it'd be pretty heavy. Part of the announcement we put out is to caution people in low-lying areas to have a plan if they get some flooding. So we're under tropical storm watch. We're gonna get some rain.
Mr. Brown? Okay, go ahead.
I was just going, where is this located? Cohen Veterans Network Building?
It's gonna be on Memorial Drive.
It's over on Memorial.
Yeah, but-
Down by the old cab stand, I think, in that.
I think that's right.
Coming off, coming in Folkestone from the top of
Oh,
Memorial
at the
Drive
end here?
on the right-hand side, I think. That's Melissa, right?
Melissa's doing it. Melissa's investing in her community.
Oh, that's,
Yeah, she's gonna be, she owns the building.
she owns the building.
Mhm.
Okay,
And she's renting to these people.
okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, I'm sorry.
it just got a couple of things. Mr. Brown, where are we at with the American Rescue Funds?
We have a they're taking final comments until next week, and then they'll come out with their final determination. That's Department of Treasury. We have 2 more, one with ACCG, one with Carl Vince Student Institute of Government next week, and then we'll be ready to come with y'all.
Okay.
Again, every update they're due, they're posting it to those NACO sites, so it's important to watch those. But then we would come to you, and we're going to give you a slide overview of what we've seen, kind of get you briefed up, and there are a lot of considerations. Y'all know that. You've looked at it. Probably set aside some time for y'all to,
Yeah, we may need.
basically do a little bit of planning. We won't leave you in a void there.
Yeah.
We'll give you some ideas, but that plan will be up to y'all to spread that where it works.
Yeah.
Can you give us, would you like to or not to give us a brief update on EMS changeover? Because I have some great concerns.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I know is the changeover's going fine. We are still on track for September 1. Mr. Davis is preparing some agreements that you'll have to consider at your next meeting. One of those is to be able to have an agreement with Liberty Regional Medical Center to use their state license, because you cannot get it right now transferred to the county. The other agreement that will be considered as part of that, there'll be a land transfer agreement that he's going to bring to you and show you where it transfers that whole piece of property from the hospital to the county. That'll be in perpetuity. There'll be a EMS medical advisor agreement that he will bring to you probably in the mid-month of August for consideration. Had some discussion with the doctor about that this week. And there will be one more agreement that's escaping me, but so far, everything's good. They're supposed to do, Ms. Jackson, Althea Jackson over at the hospital, their HR director, and Ms. Troutman have been communicating regular. Anybody that applies for jobs over there is also given our package so they understand what's going to happen. They don't come into it in a lurch. They have scheduled to both assist with onboarding of new employees. Believe it is actually towards the end of July, first part of August, that they're going to be doing that, and that's where they'll officially sign up. They'll have driver's license checks that are run, that insurance companies required, and they'll undergo drug testing that's required.
And the reason why I'm concerned about that, because I had the self-experience over the weekend. Called EMS, they came out, checked out, but then they told me that they couldn't transfer me, could not take me to Savannah for the conditions of what I had, because they only had one unit in Hinesville, in the county. Now, I know we got more, and wait till y'all get this experience and you'll know how I feel. So you know what? My family took me.
Really? Yeah.
But the EMTs did their job. I want to make sure that's clarified.
Okay.
It's the regulation that has them at that point that they can't do anything else. The EMTs did their job,
Well, good.
and they did it well.
Well, good. All right.
Did they get transport?
They couldn't transport because they
Based on
only
re-
have one unit in the county. Now, I know we got more than 3 units. Now, personnel is going to still be a problem. I'm just letting you all know that out front, and anybody out there listening, I don't care, because it was involving. And not me, just because I'm a commissioner. But any other citizens out there need to know this.
Yeah, personnel's going to be an issue coming in, we know that, because half the people, I mean, I think to run, we, Mr. Mosley did some modeling, in fact, to run 4 crews, 5 crews, it was 4 crews all the time. Yeah, all the time. You were going to be short. Because you have to rely on the part-time people to come in and work, and they're working other jobs. So, I mean, that is the mission. It's not going to get cured immediately. I mean, we're doing, I think our benefit package is good. We're running those numbers again, you know, through Carl Vinson to be able to be competitive, which we will be. And a lot of the changes that y'all have protracted to make, that's going to come back, but it's just not going to come back overnight. We're already hearing folks that had left that are signing up to come back, which is good news. And we're working on the American Heart Association recertification stuff that has taken some folks out of the loop and put them doing some other tasks. We're going to have to rein that back in, but we've also got to cure the AHA problem because our folks have to be recertified. So, but yes, sir, and I don't know what calls this weekend, and certainly wish I don't have any control over that right now, but.
Joey,
The last thing is, I probably would not have come today if I had gotten a number like some others has gotten to call in to participate in the meeting, and I did not get anything.
If you would let me know in the future that you want a number, because that's what basically happened. In fact, with Commissioner Walden, he'd say, I'm not be able to make it, can you furnish a number?
Okay. I thought it was a stand-up procedure.
No, sir, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. It was done by commissioner request.
Okay.
Joey, other than the service that EMS provides and the personnel, what about the facilities, the buildings, the grounds? Is that going to be who does that now? The hospital?
Already a problem. We toured the building uptown here that needs a lot of care.
And where is that?
That's on South Main Extension.
South Main.
Main office.
So we took a crew and went around there, Jerry and his second, and all of us went and took IT. Basically, have ended up calling a contractor to come by and try to look at it and give us a price to fix the roof and do stuff that needs to be fixed in there. And then you're aware of the building in Midway that we're trying to rapidly get out of, an old dilapidated metal building, and should have some plans for y'all to look at next week on that, talk to the architect today.
So, I mean, the buildings and the grounds, Jerry and his crew would have to maintain that. You
Yes, sir.
don't
And-
go in there
and
cut the grass and
Be quite honest with you,
the light bulbs, this, whatever.
yeah, be quite honest with you. He struggles with manpower too right now, like everybody's doing. So we've had some conversations about him trying to outsource some of his outside lawn maintenance, which would be great because he's scattered in different locations. He may do the ones in a central area, but trying to run the voting precincts, trying to run to Midway, trying to run to, it's more than he can really handle. So I really think that we'll outsource some of that, Commissioner Gilliard, or recommend that to y'all.
Good luck.
It'd be a good idea.
I mean, we still trying to get people to cut grass in Hinesville and on Folk Stewart and in Hunter. I mean, it's tough.
Okay.
I know you're going to be involved in this transition, and I know you got to hire a director, and I know you've probably already know that you can't do that by yourself, so you're going to need to have some help to pick whoever you think, and of course, I mean, we've got Commissioner Thrifts on the hospital board, and I don't know anything about it, but I know Commissioner Stevens does, as far as whatever some of the issues might be out there. I think that'd be healthy when that decision's made.
Well, we've already, that's one thing we've had to fast track, because that's one thing that isn't keeping people here is not having a director. So we took those applications, we closed them out. We had 10 applicants. We've screened down to 5, Mr. Mosley and myself, and in fact, Mr. John Deacle who's the current medical, actually he's running EMS. And we have those interviews scheduled for next week, as a matter of fact.
Well, and the other thing, of course, Clint's already gone, and I had checked with Clint about, his, of course, fortunately, some of us live right here in town, we don't have to worry about the dirt roads, but the commissioners on the right side over there, they're gonna have to worry about it. But it's probably gonna be healthy for us to have a little talk or two before the meeting, so we'll know if a individual calls and says, this is happening in Gum Branch, or this is happening in Scriven Fork, that the commissioners know, okay, this is, we probably need to start having a little bit more. I mean, Mr. Dodd has sent something out every day. I've read every piece of it and I've sent it on, but, we probably need to know, have you got your resources in the right place? Clint assured me that they were, so I feel comfortable about that. Are they gonna be at the fire station in Gum Branch, or are they gonna be where, so somebody will know? If the telephones is out, so they'll know that they can go to the fire station and say the trees crossed the line on Dairy Farm Road or something like that. Or I just don't know that, we need to probably start having a little bit better communication and stuff like that. And it may mean that all of us have to get together up here for 30 minutes to decide what we need to try to do. Fuel and stuff like that. I mean, I know right now it's pretty much a wind and a rain, but this is just a practice run right now. I'm saying we probably need to have at least our board, because I heard enough questions tonight from Commissioner Stevens that a lot of people don't have Facebook. A lot of people have cell phones, but I mean, text messages and email, they're not getting them. So we probably need to do a little bit better job. Not that we're not doing a great job. I'm just saying,
Do a little better.
change is good when change is good. I've heard somebody say that before. So.
We'll do a better job pushing out to you. Note well taken, all the generators are topped off, all the vehicles are topped off, all the tanks are topped off. That's standard. It's just.
And they've already been tested and they run.
And they run. They check.
I've seen plenty of them full
Yes, sir,
and they don't run.
They check themselves. They're automatic checkers. So, but yes, sir, that's some automatic stuff. I think it'd probably be helpful for us to put a pager together for stuff that just, anytime these storms ramp up, no matter what shape they are storm, it's automatic stuff that we just do.
I happened to be there when Jerry was asking Clint those same questions. He went through it like clockwork. Bam, bam, bam. Check, 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 check.
Right.
Done, boss. Done, boss. But you wouldn't know that.
It's some automatic stuff,
but
automatic emails we send out to department heads that are even not there about their vehicles that may be needed. Damage assessment teams already notified about things that, and just in case they're needed. I mean, we don't want to let the guard down just because it's a.
And one of the things is we've got great employees, and there's probably some of them that may need to stay home because of some reason or another. I mean, we want to make sure our employees are treated right. If we need them, we need them. So let's let them take care of whatever they got to do in their home and then come to work. So
That's how we should do it.
And we had our conversation, pulled the chairman in for that conversation today about what to do about workers and with Mr. Dodd and what health department was on the phone for, and we decided that we'd work tomorrow.
Well, I mean,
Be cautious. So.
I've already said I'll be here if you need something. I mean, especially on the East End, if you get something me and Gary need to look at.
Come on down.
Don't know about, we're pretty good shape on this.
All right. Before the fight breaks out, Chairman Taylor, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All right, we'll adjourn. Everybody be safe. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's going to be a Facebook.
Okay, yeah, all right.